Carlson took to X, formerly known as Twitter, last week to attack Mark Levin, a popular talk show host on Fox News, for speaking with President Trump about the Iranian threat. You see, Tucker Carlson attacked all those who are concerned that Iran is close to a nuclear weapon. And according to Tucker Carlson, all the claims that Iran is close to nuclear capabilities are false. And I quote his tweet, "It's a lie. In fact, there is zero credible intelligence that suggests Iran is anywhere near building a bomb or has plans to. None. Anyone who claims otherwise is ignorant or dishonest." Perhaps Tucker Carlson is unaware of the International Atomic Energy Association's report of May 17th that says that Iran has amassed 409 kilograms of uranium enriched up to 60%. And according to this IAEA report, that is an increase of almost 50% since the last report only a few months ago in February, and that the 60% enriched material is a short technical step away from weapons-grade levels of 90%. So, according to the UN's own...
Whoa, hold on there, Pesach. We won't be needing this. Hi, I'm Aaron. I'm the guy behind the camera. Here in this studio, we have been producing the most incredible Bible course platform you can find online today. And this month at Israel 365, we are celebrating Bible Pride Month, and we're giving the most incredible deals. Click on the link in the description below and get started today.
Atomic watchdog group, Iran is a short technical step away from large quantities of weapons-grade uranium, enough for numerous nuclear warheads. But according to Tucker Carlson, anyone who says this is ignorant or dishonest. Now, if that's not enough for you, perhaps we should pay attention to Fereydun Abbasi, the former head of the Atomic Energy Organization of Iran.
من یه مصاحبه کردم، گفتم آقا 15 یا 20 ساله ما از موضوع اینکه بتونیم سلاح بسازیم گذشتیم. برای چی؟ نساختیم. تا حالا کسی دستور ساخت بهمون نداده. نگاه کنید، من اگر بهم بگن بساز میسازم. اینکه زمان بدن، بگن نمیدونم 6 ماه، 1 سال، 1 ماه، 1 روز، اینا همش غلطه. شما باید تصمیم بگیری و بیای یه تغییرات کوچیک جای بدی. مثلا اورانیوم میخوای کار کنی، اورانیوم غنی شده 90% باید داشته باشی. 90% رو با لیزر میشه تولید کرد، با الکترومغناطیسی میشه تولید کرد، با سنتریفیوژ هم تولید میشه.
Now, Tucker went on in his tweet to point out that, quote, at least 2 of Iran's neighbors, both Islamic nations, already have nuclear weapons. And then he says that, we don't see people like Mark Levin who are worried about Iran complaining about that. Now, I don't know who the 2 Islamic nations are. Pakistan openly does have nuclear weapons. I'm not exactly sure who else Tucker's referring to, but this is gaslighting of the highest order. Let me explain. Tucker is bringing up the fact that there are 2 other Muslim nations near Iran that also are nuclear as a way of saying, what are you so worried about Iran for? There's other Muslim nations that have nuclear weapons, as though our concern about Iran having nuclear weapons is only due to the fact that it's a Muslim nation. Last I checked, Pakistan did not fund Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, Hezbollah in Venezuela, Hezbollah in Paraguay, who are in business with the Mexican cartels trafficking drugs and humans across the southern border of the United States. Last I checked, Pakistan was not the world's leading sponsor of terror. The concern with Iran has nothing to do with Islam. This is what we call a straw man. Tucker is trying to make us think that our opposition to Iran having a nuclear weapon is really only based on Islamophobia, on the fact that they're Muslims. And look, there's other Muslim nations that have nuclear weapons. Our concern about Iran getting a nuclear weapon is because Iran is an aggressive nation. They fund terrorism all over the world. They vow to destroy America. They vow to destroy Israel. They are an ideologically Islamist jihadist regime. That is not true of these other nations that have nuclear weapons. Further on in the tweet, Tucker warns of thousands of dead Americans should there be strikes on Iran. Thousands of dead Americans. Now, let's recall that in Trump's first term, the United States took out Qasem Soleimani, the top figure in the Iranian military in the Revolutionary Guard hardcore, and they took him out, this top terrorist. There wasn't even a retaliation. The Iranians' retaliation amounted to warning the Americans in advance before they lobbed some rockets at some empty buildings on an American base. And when Israel a few months ago destroyed pretty much all of Iran's air defense capabilities, Iran vowed retaliation, and there wasn't one. We're kind of still waiting for it. So what is this concern about thousands of dead Americans? But it gets better. Later on in Tucker's tweet, he writes as follows, quote, "While it's often described as a rogue state, Iran has powerful allies. It's now part of a global bloc called BRICS, which represents the majority of the world's landmass, population, economy, and military power." This is incredible. BRICS is an economic partnership between countries that want to do business without the US dollar. There are numerous countries that are members of BRICS that are friendly with the United States, like India and the United Arab Emirates. The idea that the BRICS nations would militarily step in to defend Iran is absurd. It shows that Tucker Carlson has no understanding of what BRICS is and has no understanding of geopolitics, or he's not being honest. And this brings us to the Iran-Qatar connection. Back when Donald Trump was visiting Qatar a number of weeks ago, he gave a press conference in which he came right out and said that the Iranians should be grateful to the Qataris for lobbying President Trump not to attack Iran. He basically came right out and said that the Qataris and their positive relationship with the Americans is protecting the Iranians from severe action taken against them. And back in March, it was well known that Tucker Carlson interviewed Prime Minister of Qatar, Mohammed bin Abdulrahman Al Thani. And then a few months later, the Washington Examiner ran a story that revealed that the Department of Justice documents revealed that Qatar has been lobbying U.S. conservative media. The Qatari embassy in D.C. paid the public relations firm Lumen 8 Advisors, a registered foreign agent receiving $180,000 a month from Qatar, to facilitate an interview between Qatar's prime minister and conservative commentator Tucker Carlson. This arrangement was confirmed through the Foreign Agents Registration Act records. So we have this firm called Lumen 8 Advisors. The Examiner story points out that very little is known about this firm. It turns out that Lumen 8 Advisors has no other clients and no other projects that it's engaged in. It appears that Lumen 8 Advisors was created in order to facilitate this interview between Tucker Carlson and the Prime Minister of Qatar, and they're being paid $180,000 a month to facilitate one single interview. So, Tucker Carlson loves to just ask questions and raise questions that we're not supposed to ask. Well, I have a question. What is the relationship between Tucker Carlson and Lumen 8 Advisors? How much of that $180,000 a month ended up in Tucker Carlson's pocket for that interview? Does it make sense that there's a media firm that only has one interview that they've set up and that they're getting paid so much to set up? Back to Iran, though. I'll leave you with the words of the Supreme Leader of Iran, Ali Khamenei.
این مسئله آمریکا و ایران اینی که شما میگید مرگ بر آمریکا، این یه شعار نیست صرفاً. این یک خط مشیه